One of the keys to a healthy and thriving space ecosystem is a vibrant academic pipeline. And one of the critical components of a vibrant academic pipeline is space related content, programming, and infrastructure in K through 12 schools. New York is home to an expansive K through 12 space network. There's a network of planetariums at the center of this dynamic statewide pool of resources in space, astronomy, and rocketry available to young learners throughout New York. This is a critical component of feeding into the college and university network, which eventually leads into the private sector. So a healthy K through 12 space network is critical, eventually long term, for job growth and employment in the space sector in New York. This presentation will go over some of the highlights of the K through 12 network in the state, followed by a presentation of the resources available in the Empire Space Census. Some of the major takeaways: there are 59 total entries in the Empire Space Census, covering everything from schools with on-campus planetariums to schools with amateur rocketry clubs. All 10 regions of the state are represented in some capacity, with all but the capital region and southern tier home to at least one on-campus K through 12 planetarium. Obviously, that is a gap that Empire Space would aim to have filled at some point in the middle to long term. We understand that new planetariums and new programming don't happen overnight in schools, but filling these gaps and making sure that quality space, astronomy, rocketry, and aerospace programming is available to all students in New York is a critical component of the work that we do here at Empire Space. Long term, this is important, as we've iterated before, for the health of the overall space ecosystem, laying the foundation for greater networking with colleges and universities. This sustains existing space companies, graduating new talent in fields that they need, but is also critical for attracting new ones. You're never going to attract new companies in space and aerospace if you don't have a vibrant academic pipeline to supply them with the workers that they need. Some districts have opted not to refurbish or replace most of these facilities. Most of them were built in the 1960s during the space age. During the 90s and the 2000s, they came up for renewal or replacement. There were some districts that opted not to for cost, lack of support. Other districts rallied to save their planetariums, but some of these districts let that resource slip away, and there have now been generations of students raised without access to the high quality space astronomy programming that would prepare them to play a role in the 21st century space economy. So let's learn a little bit more. Specifics. Bronx science is really one of the ideal when you look at how a K through 12 space program should look. It's a top flight academy, offers top-notch programming and coursework for students interested in space and astronomy. They also host one of the few active planetariums in New York City. They offer rooftop telescope observing. They offer computer programming opportunities. Not only do they do all of this, they also maintain connections with Columbia University. They have a student lecture series. So they touch all of the bases. They have a diverse range of offerings. They have high quality infrastructure available to students who are interested. They have connections with higher education. It's everything you could want out of a space and astronomy program, K through 12. The Buffalo region on the other end of the state tells the story of those highs and lows. So after that surge of interest in the 1960s, multiple school districts, as well as Buffalo State, Niagara Community College, hosted planetariums. So you had a network of planetariums at the center of space-related programming throughout Metro Buffalo. Yet, lack of interest, Cold War, led to shrinking budgets. Niagara Community College shuttered their planetarium in the 1990s and never reopened it. Well, another suburban district let theirs languish for years before finally replacing it. Williamsville, the planetarium is pictured here, offers a hopeful tale. The community rallied to save the planetarium. They secured grants. They advocated for it in the news. They garnered support from their local state senator. The facility is now a state-of-the-art planetarium and available to the public at large. It now serves as a hub for not only students of all ages from around the district, but the community at large. And this is the value that these facilities provide. They provide that hub, that networking for community, for business, for students to come together, to learn about space, astronomy, to engage in what will become a much larger part of our economy moving through the 21st century. Rocket clubs are a unique treasure. It's a truly unique opportunity for students interested in space and STEM. It offers lessons in mechanics, physics, as well as leadership, responsibility. It's a beautiful outlet for students who are interested in getting more involved in space and astronomy. It gets them out of the classroom, gets them active. Plus, it's just insanely cool. More than 24 middle and high schools across New York have participated in the Great American Rocket Challenge in recent years. We think this is a fantastic outlet. We think more schools should do it. There are a number of existing amateur launch sites around upstate New York, although more are needed. We know a number of sites, especially on Long Island, have faced difficulty and have even closed in recent years. Permitting issues, range issues. Empire Space definitely wants to step in and reinforce these facilities, make sure that there are amateur launch sites available around New York for community groups as well as for education use. The Onteora Central School District in the Mid-Hudson region offers a full rocket club for students in grades 6 through 12. We would encourage other districts around the state to look at them, follow their model, see if it might be useful in your school. So how this impacts you. So there's lots of great space and astronomy stuff. There's planetariums on campuses. That's awesome. Why does it matter? So for students, find space programs near you that you can get involved in, or if none exist in your district, you now can lead the charge to create more space programming in your school. You can see what other schools nearby are doing that you want to bring in. You have specific examples, you have nearby examples, build an alliance. You can now bring this programming to your school. For educators, find examples of exciting new programming that you can bring to your students. Everyone's always looking for new lessons. There's great stuff happening around the state. Find other organizations you can partner with. If you're looking to build an alliance, learn more. For parents, you can find opportunities for your student. If your kid has an interest in space, astronomy, STEM, there's great resources available here in the Census. For universities, find those K-12 partnerships. You have existing space, aerospace, astronomy, physics programming. Find K-12 schools in your region, build that pipeline out. Everybody wins in the long term. For business, a strong K-12 pipeline in space and STEM feeds into colleges and universities. This reinforces your long-term workforce. So key takeaways and a look into the future. There are two key themes shaping the future of K-12 space education in New York. First is this robust statewide network is poised to serve as that key part of a full academic to economic pipeline. To have a successful, thriving space ecosystem, you need to have academic talent supplying workers that space companies, aerospace companies need that requires a K-12 component. New York has that. Dozens of institutions with planetariums, dozens of schools participating in rocketry. We just need to grow that network to other regions, fill it in, make it denser, make it more integrated. The second major highlight is that communities have rallied to save their planetariums, demonstrating their impact and their value. When asked, many communities have stepped up to preserve these resources. We should take note of those efforts, of that energy. People recognize why this is important. People are fascinated by space, they're interested by space, and increasingly they understand the value, the economic impact of space. Pictured below is the Southern Cayuga Central School District Planetarium. Again, it was built in the 1960s, faced years of underfunding and uncertainty in the 2000s. It looked for many years like it was going to be closed, or the community would lose this resource. They rallied to save it, and it was fully renovated and reopened in 2019. We need more stories like this across New York. So this has been an overview of the K-12 system, the dynamic impact it is having in districts across the state, the need to expand that programming to other corners of the state, some of the challenges that these facilities have faced, and how communities have rallied to overcome them. The best way to access the K-12 database in the Empire Space Census is from our census homepage, empirespace.org/data. You see the census map here, the academic information here to the left side, K-12 information here at the end. You can go ahead and click on that. It's also available up here from the drop-down, hover over data, scroll down, K-12 schools right there. We're going to go ahead and click on that. This is the K-12 database. Introduction up here, some overview, some insights, some of the history, how the system and network kind of came to be built. And then we scroll down and we have the list. We have 59 entries in the table as of this moment. Information straightforward. All of these are interactive. So along the left, you have the school, you have the locality, you have any facilities. So either rocket facilities or entries, and then planetariums, notes, insight into each of the entries, legislative codes, and then the region of the state that they're in. So here, see, we have the Bronx High School of Science located in the Bronx. Facilities on campus at the Bronx Science Planetarium. Click on that. Brings you right here to their homepage. And it's the same for all 59 entries. You can scroll down, find one in your region of the state, read a little bit about them, click, and find out more about the facilities that they have there. So it's really as easy as that. 15 seconds, you're here, you're in the database, you're clicking on things, you're finding out about planetariums and space and astronomy in K-12 schools across New York. It's meant to be easy and accessible. For students, we want young people to come, explore this database, let their curiosity free, see where it takes them so they can find out about cool things happening in space and astronomy in their backyard. For educators, find other programs, other partners, ways to bring this programming into your classroom. For community groups, for museums, planetariums that are out there, for private companies that are looking for academic partners in the K-12 space for whatever initiatives you have going on. Here is that database. Find them in your neck of the woods. Network with them. We also have more information up here in the report section. Click on that. Scroll down. This one is Space Schools Fuel Bright Future. Click on that. Has an overview of the entire academic sector, but it does include the K-12 sector. Do want to point out this regional analysis here. You can see K-12 is the blue bar. We have the regions here. Most regions do have an entry in the K-12 table. There are two that don't, Southern Tier and the Capital Region. That's a long-term gap that does need filling in the state. K-12 programs don't spring up overnight, but it is something to strive for, to have representation in all 10 regions. But you will see here this clustering down towards the end. This is New York City, Long Island, and Mid-Hudson. So this is definitely a New York City-centric phenomenon, but there are K-12 schools in many regions upstate. And then there's just a detailed analysis here, again, about the background, how a lot of these facilities sprang up in the 60s and 70s, et cetera. So that's up there in the report section. For students and educators, we want to make you aware of the Get Involved section up here on the right. This has a number of different ways that you can get active, you can get involved with space and astronomy in New York, in your corner of New York. Here, social media contacts. This is a list of all the entries from our census, planetariums, observatories, astronauts, everyone, their Twitter and Facebook links. You can connect with them via social media. This one might be particularly important, NASA Solar System ambassadors. These are NASA Solar System ambassadors. They network with NASA. They are their representatives here in New York that conduct space and astronomy programming across the state. We encourage you to find those in your region, reach out, find whatever programming they're doing, see if you can bring that into your classroom, expose your students to, the joys of space and astronomy. Coming back here, a little bit more, some diversity initiatives here. Critically important to make sure that space and astronomy is open to everyone in the 21st century. And then a calendar. We have interesting things coming up. We try to add new information here all the time. So you can see if there's anything cool happening in your neck of the wood. Other events here, global space launches, global space events. So there's a number of different calendars here, astronomy events. You can track all sorts of fun things that are coming up for you to enjoy. So that is the long and short of it. That is the K-12 through 12 information in the Empire Space Census. We want to thank you for joining us. We hope you have found this helpful.
Hello there, Patrick Chase here, co-founder of Empire Space. I want to thank you for watching this video. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at EmpireSpaceNY. Reach out to us at info@empirespace.org with questions, comments, or suggestions. Again, please like and share the video. Tell your friends about it. Leave any thoughts in the comment section below. And again, thank you for joining us. Be safe. Have a great day.